Okay. Consent calendar, please.
I move we approve the consent calendar as listed on our business meeting agenda for November 30th, 2021.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Payables list, please.
I move that we approve the payables for the week of November 22nd through the 26th, 2021 in the amount of $513,762.78.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, moving on. First action item, Juvenile Justice Annual Financial Report from the Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections, and it's our Juvenile Probation Director, Deb Nadeau. Go right ahead, Deb.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is our annual Juvenile Justice Financial Report that is due to Department of Juvenile Corrections. Dena and her team in the Auditor's Office prepare this report for us. It's a nice snapshot of how much the county pays, how much state income that we get for paying for our juvenile justice services in the county. It also shows the carryover that we have for future projects and programs.
And your 2 cars.
It does show that we were able to purchase those vehicles this year with the tobacco tax carryover funds, so that
Good.
was taken out of that carryover amount. It's been signed by the clerk and the judge, and it's ready for the commissioner's signature.
Okay. Any questions for Deb? Motion.
I move that we approve or acknowledge the annual financial report with the Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections for our Juvenile Probation Department.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 2, Certified Local Government Subgrant Application, Idaho, with the Idaho State Historic Preservation Office, Resource Management Office. Is it Kim?
Yes, Kim Riley for the record. We are requesting authorization to apply for a grant through the Idaho State Historic Preservation Office. This would be the FY22 Certified Local Government Grant, and it would provide a consultant to prepare a revised and updated countywide historic preservation plan. The amount of the request is $15,000 with a $15,000 in-kind match.
Okay. Any questions? Motion.
I move that we approve the Certified Local Government Subgrant application with the Idaho State Historic Preservation Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Item number 3, Professional Services Agreement for Geotech Services with All West Testing and Engineering for the Riverstone Transit Center. Once again, Kim from our Resource Management Office.
Thank you. Kim Riley again for the record. This is an agreement with All West to provide dry well and surface infiltration testing, which is necessary for the engineering phase of our Phase 2 project at the Transit Center. The amount is not to exceed $6,500.
And Kim, just for everyone's benefit, what is Phase 2? Is it the parking lot expansion?
Yes, it's the parking lot and the small storage building. And I do have David Waterhouse here with me if you had any specific questions.
Any questions? Leslie?
No.
Okay, motion please.
I move that we approve the professional services agreement for geotechnical services with All West Testing and Engineering for the Riverstone Transit Center project.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 4, second lease addendum for Chamberlain Enterprises LLC at the airport. Stephen?
Commissioner Stephen Kjergaard for the record. This is a lease addendum to increase the square footage by approximately 3,800 square foot. This will increase the lease amount by about $760 per year. There is a in your document, it shows a change per month as well in there. Commissioner Duncan had a question about that previously, but just as a change of approximately $760 per year.
Yeah, so their new rate of $395.90 a month will bring in $759 more per year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Understood. Any questions? Motion.
No.
I move that we approve the second lease addendum for Jim Chamberlain Enterprises LLC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, the motion's carried. Item number 5, lease addendum for Mac Aero LLC at the airport. Steve?
Commissioner Kjergaard, again for the record, this is a end of the first term lease agreement, and we, in order to help facilitate them being able to afford their lease payment, as they had about 115,000 square feet of lease space they were not using, we reduced their overall square footage by 114,506 square feet. And then as part of that, we raised their rate to market rate, which basically made their payment the same. So it increased by about $300 a year. And it's now going to the current commercial rate, which is 26.4 cents per square foot per year.
Okay. Despite a reduction of, what was it, 114,000 square feet?
By cutting their entire area they lease in half, they stayed basically the same. That's how low their lease rate was.
Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve the lease addendum with Mock Arrow LLC.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Item number 6, grant agreement for the airport rescue grant, 3-16-0010-053-2022 at the airport. Stephen?
Commissioner Kjergaard, again for the record, this was the $59,000 grant that we applied for a few weeks ago. This is just the concurrence of signing off on Commissioner Philios. He signed it off already with it because I was concerned we would not be able to get it back in time before the November 30th deadline. So I had him sign prior to this, just in case.
I got chastised for that, but go ahead.
And I apologize, I thought we
No,
did.
that's all right. You were under a time crunch.
So, and it was, I didn't know if we'd be able to get it done in time.
Yeah, and we can always add it as an emergency when it's time sensitive
Right.
like that.
Okay, motion?
I move that we approve the grant agreement for the airport rescue grant number 3-16-0010-053-0, I'm sorry, -2022.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 7 is the amendment to the Summit Food Services Contract, KCSO. Lieutenant Ellis, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Lieutenant Nancy Ellis with the Sheriff's Office Jail. We are here today asking you to adopt the amendment to the Summit Food Services contract that we just presented to you at the previous meeting.
Okay, and I presume there are no questions since we just went over this?
Yeah.
You okay?
No, we don't have a signed version, and typically we sign their sign. Do you guys have the signed version yet?
We do.
Okay.
Assigned. I gave that to Terry this morning.
Okay, perfect. So then my question is, was the typo changed for the December date? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll execute that at the conclusion.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm going to, let's see how I can phrase this. Well, I'm going to discuss it first, so before I make this elaborate
go
motion.
ahead.
I'm thinking that we need to approve up to the $20 an hour wage rate, so they don't have to come back to us if they can't do that. However, understanding that, there's going to be budgetary impacts. And so they'll need to, I ask the jail to come back to us in April to give us an idea of where you're at and if this even worked, because my understanding is there's a lot of places that are offering a lot of money and they're still not getting people. So,
Okay. And even approving them up to the $20 an hour wage, you're still fine budgetarily, based on your forecast.
Correct.
Okay. Go right ahead.
All right, I move that we approve the amendment for Summit Food Services contract with the $20 an hour wage rate to be the maximum, but starting at the $18 an hour first.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8, amendment for the professional services agreement for the Justice Center expansion with Lombard Conrad Architects, which is LCA, and the Board of County Commissioners. Leslie?
So last week, or actually was it? Yeah, it was last week, I talked about how I went and had the meeting with LCA, and they figured that it would be about a $25,000 difference from what they've already done for a standalone building to then adjust it to an extension of the Justice Center.
Okay.
So that's what this agreement is, not to exceed $25,000.
Okay. And we've got fund balance to cover this.
Actually, the amount that we had already approved, they hadn't used all of that up yet. So it rolled over into 22.
Got it. Okay, Bill, any questions?
No questions.
Motion?
I move that we approve the amendment for professional services, or the professional services agreement for the Justice Center expansion with Lombard Conrad Architects.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 9, Resolution 2021-114, to reserve foregone, to find the reserve for foregone taxes by the auditor. Dena, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. So before you, you have Resolution 2021-114, reserving $837,768 of foregone from our 2022 budget. I know we've already discussed this, but for the good of the record, I wanted to just briefly go through the facts and circumstances that led us to this point. So, as you know, HB 389, which affected the way we do property tax and the way we budget, had some late implementation changes, several different versions of forms, and in completing those forms and doing the tax levy with the treasurer, there was a math error. So we actually are not levying the full amount that was approved in the budget. We are the $837,768 short for the levy. So in order to not lose that money, we want to enter that into foregone and reserve it so that at a future date, we may bring that back in, because as you know, our starting number for next year will be whatever our levy was the year before. So we're going to be starting in a behind position. We know from HB 389 that we can take 1% of foregone for operations without penalty. That will restore about $500,000. So we won't be able to restore the full amount, but if the board wishes to, we can restore a large portion of that and be less worse off than we are today. The good news, I guess, the good part of this is Kootenai County taxpayers are going to see a tax increase of about 1.4% instead of 3%. So we will be releasing a press release today, which you've reviewed. That will go out after this meeting today to let the public know that their tax bills will be reduced not only for this upcoming tax year, but for the next budget year, because we will not be able to recover the full amount. So, have any questions? Here to answer those.
Any questions for Dena?
Not necessarily questions, but just to further expand on it, this $837,000 that's not going to be collected, we had revenues in excess of 2-3 million last year that are going to go into our fund balance.
Yes.
So the county operations will not be hurt by the lack of collecting this. It will come out of our fund balance,
If need be.
if need be, yes.
So, moving forward, we'll be monitoring the budget and keep in mind that as far as the way the budget is structured, this is the general fund portion of the levy. All of the other funds were not affected by this. It's just the general fund. So we will monitor spending, and if we see that there's going to be a shortfall, we definitely would let you know. And also just working with the State Tax Commission, this has been a real learning moment for us because a lot of times we defer to the Idaho State Tax Commission to guide us. This is an error I missed. It's an error that the State Tax Commission missed. They have a lot of new people at the state level, so we're all learning. Our tax person is also new. So we're implementing steps for a more rigorous review to make sure that this doesn't happen, and also to work more closely with the State Tax Commission to help them as well. Recently, just in the last few days, there were some other errors that were discovered where we overpaid some of the underlying districts because the numbers we got from the State Tax Commission were incorrect. So we're mitigating and working through those. So we're all kind of working together saying, yes, we know that we have some improvements we need to make, but now we know what to look for and we'll be working together.
Sure.
And we're not the only county, are we?
No.
So HB 389 made life, fair to say, difficult for a number of
The
counties.
lateness of the implementation was the big thing, and the last minute changes to all of the documents that we use to calculate that preliminary levy rate were very confusing. So actually, I'm going to the Associated Taxpayers of Idaho Conference in Boise tomorrow, and we'll be asking some questions of legislators and finding out what they intend to do in the next legislative cycle, and if what changes they're planning and what their timeline is, because the late implementation really bit us as well as other agencies.
Sure.
Okay.
And then I guess my only last comment would be, had we implemented the full 3%, that would have been, the certain amount. Next year, if we implement our full 3% plus take 1% of foregone taxes, that will still be a lower amount of money than it would have been a 3% this year and a 3% next year. So I just want to make that clear that this is definitely an error in the taxpayers' benefit, and I don't see it hurting county operations at this point. So.
And what's fascinating is I think we have somewhere in the vicinity of 90,000 taxable parcels. The last figure I heard was 87,000, but call it
I think it's
90.
like 96 maybe now. It's quite
So
up there.
it's basically, how much? $10 per parcel?
Yes.
Rate that people, on average, obviously.
On average, although everybody's tax bill is different. I was also looking at some statistics for our annual report today, and year over year, our property values increased $4.1 billion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the growth is evident and the tax base is expanding.
Yep. Thank you, Dena.
Thank you.
Motion.
I move that we approve Resolution 2021-114, which is the reservation of foregone taxes.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. So that concludes our action items. Moving on to the final item, which is a status update for the BOCC. And the first item is facilities expansion.
So we just signed,
did that.
yeah, we just did that in the business meeting, and we will expect our new designs no later than February.
Got it. Airport lease. Stephen, you sent that to Wally Jacobson at PAC?
Yep, I sent that to Wally. I have not heard back from him yet.
Okay. Financial snapshot, Dena, that's next week?
Next week.
Okay. Moving on. Impact fee analysis.
We're going to schedule a meeting with the company that does those things sometime in the first or preferably second week of January.
Okay, Galena Consulting, right?
Galena Consulting.
Yeah. Okay, second week January. North Lot land sale, Leslie?
Yep, nothing new to report there. Haven't been contacted and I've reached out, so I'm not sure how fruitful it'll be pressing during the holidays, but
And
my
I'm
phone's
probably gonna have to wait till
available.
after.
Yep.
Skeet and Gun Club, anything new there?
Commissioners, I sent over the appraisals for two of the lots, the north lot, the middle lot. We're still waiting on the lot that is, the lot that the actual building sits on. We received word on Sunday that it was in review this week, and we should get it next week. But if you look at their price per square foot, it's $295 per square foot, which puts each one at about $2.6 million for the 20 acres.
Now, when you say the 20 acres, are you referring to 20 acres that?
Each parcel, the two parcels that we got appraisals for so far are right around $2.6 million.
And is one of those the Gun Club?
One of it is part of the space that they have areas in.
I guess the question that I have, and I don't know if you can answer this, what does it take? Let me put this. What does it take to keep them there and not create any issues with the FAA or any other tenants?
So it goes back to what I sent to you before on in that spreadsheet I sent
Yes.
last week. The big thing is we need a funding mechanism of some sort for the airport, and the selling of the land was a mechanism to start to do projects on the airport. If we do the storage unit idea, which it appears that we have that ability to, if the issue is they still have to be moved into market rate or fair market rate.
Okay.
And that's where we have that conversation is market rate is about $12,800 per acre.
Per year.
Per year that they pay.
Okay.
Well, you can extend that out. You can do a time frame, and that's where that $100,000 to start with for the first year for the 36 acres would work. But they have to pay fair market value.
Or if the county purchased the land, the county could be the landlord and the airport
The
wouldn't.
airport's out of it.
Yep.
When the
But-
airport's out of it. Okay.
But if that appraisal continues on, you're looking, it's still $5.1 million.
Okay, and so another possibility is where the gun club charges a membership and then a certain fee per shot.
Yep, and that's why I broke down in that spreadsheet as well as if there's 300 active members at $100,000 or so, there's about $400 or $300 per member per year.
That's not unreasonable.
No, and once you get to about $500,000 is what it kind of levels out to, if I remember correctly. It was about $1,800 a year per member.
That's steep.
It's steep, but you're talking 36 acres of land in the middle of Hayden. It's expensive.
And all the years that they were basically virtually free. Okay. Bill, do you have any questions for Stephen?
No, I spent about 45 minutes this morning talking with one member of the club about what they want, and I'm sorry to say that, there was nothing we could agree on, and it just doesn't look promising as far as I'm concerned for the club to be staying there. That's why I am continuing to try to work with other places, the tribe being one, but that would be 2 to 3 years out before anything like that would actually be able to be used.
Okay. And I spoke with someone from the gun club yesterday too, and that's what prompted my question. Okay. Panhandle Village Water Project.
So I believe that we can remove it now. Jody sent an email
Yeah,
and you got that.
before.
Yep. So the application's been submitted, so we can We don't have to
Okay,
review
that's
it.
that one out.
Yep,
Okay, and I'm to read the ARPA statement once
Yeah.
again.
yes.
Requests for Kootenai County ARPA funding are now undergoing evaluation. If you have any questions or comments about the American Rescue Plan Act or Kootenai County's evaluation process, please direct them to the to ARPA for ARPA at kcgov.us email address. Other than that, we're done. Public comment? Hearing none, 2:26, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Okay, please use